Hello, friends. Today we are going to start the very first poem of your book Flamingo, My Mother at 66, composed by Kamla Das. Kamla Das, who was born in Malabar, Kerala, she was very famous for her originality in her writing and for the indigenous flavor of the soil. Kamla Das has written many short stories in English, novels, and her writing was very famous for her unique style. Like she always talked about the feminism. She rejected all the ideas of male chauvinistic society or the patriarchal society. Her famous work, a collection of short stories, Padmavati the Harriet and other story, also about the female emotions and feelings. Like she rejected that female the gender biasness of the society, and she boldly or frankly presented the ideas of sexual desire of the females, and she strongly believed that female also has emotions and feelings and it can be expressed like male anywhere. So let's start this poem. This poem is also giving a very great message that aging is a natural process. In this poem she is talking about her old mother who is getting older, and Kamla Das, because she is very much affectionate towards her mother and she cannot stop her mother like growing older and older, and she wants to be with her. But as a married woman, and as she is very busy in her married life doing all the household work along with she is managing her writing, she is not able to give time to her mother, or she is not getting time to visit her mother's home. So one day, like let's start the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me. So one day after her visit from her mother's home, she was going back to Cochin at her home, and her mother was also going with her at the airport. So when they both were sitting into the car, her mother was taking a nap. Literally, she was just dozing off, and her mouth was open. This is also the indication that a person, when they have no life, like she or he has no life, no feeling, they are very dull, or no energy in their life, and no longings or no interest to live, to stay longer. So they are like compared with, or they are the symbol of the, you can say that poet here is comparing her mother's face with corpse like a dead body, because it is already mentioned her mother's face was very dull, she was dozing, she was not caring that how she is looking like in her sleeping, because she has lost all her interest in her life. Because as per in the Indian society, when a female just like played all the roles of being a daughter or being a wife or being a mother, so they don't have any identity of their own. So as in the same way, you can say that Kamla Das mothers has played all the roles. Now she has remained no interest for her life, so she is just dozing off with no interest into her life. So her body is being compared with the dead body, very lifeless, that she was as old as she was looked. So according to poet, she was looking so old. Her mother right now is 66 years old, but she was looking so old, more than her age. Why she was looking so old? Because it all expresses on your face that how your approach is towards the life. Her mother's approach is also like negative towards her life. Now she don't have any desire to live longer. But poet here is making a contrast between her thought, which is full of insecurity and full of childhood fear, that same childhood fear that every child has to get apart from their parents. And you can see here Kamla Das also has the same childhood fear that her mother would pass away some other day and she would be all alone. So that childhood fear has come again into her mind, and now she is maintaining a balance, or making a contrast between the inside view of the car and the outside view of the car. Inside, everything is still, No movement in the mother, no expression on her face, lifeless and very dull, still all the way. But when she is looking outside of the window of the car, they both are going to the airport. When she is looking out of the window, she could see children are spilling out of their homes. Spilling out means they are rushing, running. They are very energetic, very like full of enthusiasm, full of life. And trees are sprinting means trees are also in motion, like trees are also full of life, full of energy, full of enthusiasm. So it means outside view have all the life, full of life things like trees, children, everything, like every little bit is full of energy, full of youth, you can say that. Inside mother is so old, outside tree and children are very young, energetic. So she just wants to hide and or hide to express her feeling, to express her grief. So she just wants to hide everything. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards, after a while they have just reached at the airport because she is going to Cochin to her home back after visiting her mother. So now her mother just came at the airport to bid her goodbye, and now she could see her mother at a distance, the same lifeless face which has no feeling, no expression, that mother was getting apart from her daughter, but mother was not expressing anything, so she could feel that. So that feeling, Kamla Das is like expressing her insecurity. So when her mother was standing at few yards away, she was standing at a distance, and Kamla Das again could observe her face. Her face was so pale, so vain. So vain means so colorless. She could see no color, so dull, lost of energy, like as a late winter's moon. So she started comparing her mother face with the late winter's moon. Here poet has used a poetic device, and that poetic device is simile, because she is making comparison of her face between the late winter's moon, and the word as is used here, so it is a simile. So you know that during winter the moon actually loses its brightness because of, you can say that, because of mist and fog everywhere in the atmosphere. So no brightness we could see in the winter's moon. So same she could see in her face, no brightness, no energy, and felt that old familiar ache, familiar pain, that is the same childhood fear of losing her mother, because her mother was getting old. She was like she has lost all her interests, because according to her she has just lived the life and nothing is left into her life now. She has to go. So that childhood fear has come again. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. But in fact, now it was the time to see her for the last time, because this is the instinct in Kamla Das, that maybe she is just looking at her mother for the last time when she would be coming back to visit her mother again. So she might not visit her mother, because again she is getting very old. So it is her time that maybe she could pass away any moment. But with the with the motivational word, or within to console herself, she is using that parting word, those parting words she had used here, "See you soon, Amma," with the feeling that she wanted to see her mother back. Whenever she is coming back to see her mother, she wants to see her mother every time. She doesn't want to lose her mother at any cost. So these are the parting word which is actually consoling Kamla Das. All I did was smile, smile and smile. So Kamla Das is just smiling and smiling and smiling and just looking at her mother, and because she wants to cover all the grief what she is feeling for her mother, and the same thought, the same childhood fear that she maybe her mother would pass away when she would be going back. but she wants to cover her feeling, and she doesn't want to show her grief on her face to her mother. So she is smiling. Again, she is using that poetic device here, repetition of the word smile, because again and again she is smiling. The person, when they smile more, it means they are hiding their feeling, their emotion. They should not be like revealed to anyone. So that's all about the poetry. I hope you all understood.